A lot of music has released in 2024. Basically every artist you can think of dropped something, and a lot of artists you hadn't even heard of probably blew up this year. But in this sea of a lot of really good music, there was just so much awful tap. As new colossi rose, the old began to crumble, and the new crowd flourished in a fresh spotlight. Basically, 2024 has had the most extreme highs and lows in music I can ever think of. When you think of this year in music, depending on the type of person you are, you're going to think of one of two things first. The first major event was, of course, the infamous Kendrick and Drake beef. Probably already heard enough about how everything started, but more importantly, it produced some of the best and worst music of the year. Everyone goes on about how good Kendrick's disses were. Not like Us is the biggest song of the year. Euphoria is just abuse over 3 different beats. And Meet the Grahams was just absolutely terrifying to listen to. But the part everyone seems to have forgotten about is Drake's involvement. The first song he dropped after Like That was Push Up, which was actually decent, even though one of his biggest disses was Kendrick's Short. Then he made possibly the most cursed song ever, a tailor-made freestyle with AI, Snoop Dogg and Tupac. Just hearing Drake rap with a bad fake Tupac voice over the top of it is just so wrong.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
But then he made Family Matters, which was an actually decent song. That was instantly forgotten about when Meet the Grahams released about an hour later. And then Drake closed the book with The Heart Part 6, which was so bad and embarrassing. It's basically just, I promise I didn't groom Millie Bobby Brown, and I'm too famous to be a paedophile. Somehow, after losing this beef, there was some long-lasting damage done to Drake and J. Cole. Can't think of a good song either of them have released since. J. Cole released a now iconic Grippy, and hasn't done much since then. On the other hand, Drake just has not shut up. First was his feature on a Sexy Red track, where he raps over the BBL Drizzy beat, pretending that he's in a joke and everything. And then he, for some reason, released Torture in the form of Wagwan Delilah. And now it's just getting even worse. Drake is currently trying to sue Spotify and Universal Music Group, the owners of Top Dog, Kendrick's label, but UMG also own OVO Sound, which is Drake's label. This is all because Drake thinks Not Like Us is too popular. He reckons Spotify and UMG are promoting Not Like Us unfairly. I guess it's just a massive coincidence that this lawsuit is coming 6 months after the song is released. Only a few days later after Kendrick's brand new GNX album came out, bringing him back into the spotlight again. So it's basically, Drake's really jealous that Kendrick's getting all this attention, so he's going to sue the people that own his music label in some weird attempt to draw attention back to himself. On the other side of the coin, the other big music event this year was a lot more happy. An infamous Tinder with Green was born. Charlie XCX has been popular for a long time now, but something about this album, the now iconic Brat, has launched Charlie XCX into the mainstream and become the sound of the year. It's just so loud and bold with such a unique style to it, and the album has consistently been supported with remixes, keeping it consistently popular all year. The Von Dutch remix featured Addison Rae for some reason. To me, until this point, she was just some random woman on TikTok. Somehow everything changed with one scream. Apparently she just made this ad-lib up on the spot, and this was basically the start of her insane rebrand this year. Addison's made music before, but there's never really been a lot to it till now. It's always been that weird realm of YouTuber music. But in this year, she's just released 2 singles in Diet Pepsi and Aquamarine, and she's basically made herself into this cool, stylish, hyperpop artist. There's been a lot of musical rebrands this year. There was the country albums of both Post Malone and Beyonce, which went surprisingly well. But more importantly, another influencer tried to reinvent herself, and it went terribly. JoJo Siwa's journey from dance mum and TikTok dancer to filling hair ribbons, and now becoming whatever this is, has been terrifying to see. She's released 2 songs that have gotten a lot of attention this year: Karma and Choose Your Fire. 2 songs which she's been massively criticised for. People thought she stole them when she just bought them. So she's basically released the most generic music while trying to do this massive rebrand about her being edgy and different, and apparently inventing her own new genre.
When I first signed with Columbia, I said I wanted to start a new genre of music, and they said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, it's called gay pop." And they were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's like K-pop, right?"
Another massive pop star who dropped some new music this year was Katy Perry. I do not care if it's actually good or not because of how insulting it is. It's called Woman's World and about female empowerment, which is all good stuff. But Katy Perry had a lot of help on this album by someone called Dr. Luke. Here is a few of the crimes he sued Dr. Luke for in 2014. Now, the last chapter of our story, we have to go back to where we started, with rap, which has seen basically everyone drop. There's been some amazing albums from the likes of Schoolboy Q, Denzel Curry, Freddie Gibbs, Common, GFX Mafia, and so many more. But of course, there is always awful rap. Ice Spice's first album released, it was an absolute stinker. Lil Uzi Vert released Eternal Take 2, and it was really bad. And Kanye made the bold choice of releasing a bad album, and then an album that isn't even finished a few months later. But most importantly, one of the most memed on songs of all time released, KSI's Thick of It. I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. It's possibly the most bland, cheesy background music sounding song I've ever heard. It's genuinely hard to think of an actual compliment to say about it. The dumb little Skyrim sound effects after the only memorable part just makes me squirm. The fact that he repeats how cold he is multiple times in the song while he's literally fuming about people criticising stupid lunchboxes. It all just comes together to feel like background music from a Disney Channel movie. So, 2024, a year with the highest of highs, and oh please, I promise I'm not a paedophile in music. Looking forward to what comes in 2025, but realistically, it's probably not going to live up to this.